Right now, if you type longevity into YouTube or Google, you're going to drown in NAD+, NMN, NR, peptides, biohacking stuff. Half of it sounds like it came out of a sci-fi movie. And look, I get the appeal. I'm almost 50 and I want to be strong, sharp and moving well beyond 50, 60, 70 and even 80. So a few months ago I went down the rabbit hole of longevity myself. But here's the thing nobody talks about. What if the most powerful longevity tool isn't a $90 a bottle supplement, but something boring you probably already know about? Stick with me, because by the end of this video I think you'll look at your longevity budget completely differently. So, a little context. I've trained consistently for over 30 years, and to be honest, at first it was, or rather the majority of the time, was about looks. I wanted to be a bodybuilder and look good, being massive and things like that. But somewhere around 47, 48, I started thinking less about how I look and more about how I'll function in 20 or 30 years. Can I still get off the floor without thinking about it? Can I still chase grandkids around if I'm lucky enough to have them? That shift in mindset is what pulled me into the longevity content. And NAD Plus kept showing up everywhere in forms of ads, podcasts, supplement companies practically begging me to try their cellular energy formula. So I did what I always do. I started reading, and that is studies and not just sales pages. And what I found surprised me. So what is NAD+? Let me break this down simply, because I'm not a scientist and I don't want to pretend to be one. NAD+, or nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Try saying that 5 times fast, or even 1 time. Anyway, it's a molecule every single cell in your body needs to make energy. Think of it like a rechargeable battery your cells constantly use and recharge. As we age, our NAD plus levels naturally decline. By the time you're in your 50s, you might have roughly half the NAD plus you had in your 20s. That decline gets linked to fatigue, slower metabolism, and some of the markers we associate with aging. So the logic behind NAD plus supplements or precursors like NMN or NR, which your body converts into NAD plus, that all sounds airtight on paper. Levels go down as we age, so raise the levels, slow the aging. It's a clean story, it's just not the whole story. And I'll get to that in a minute. Here's where it gets interesting, because while I was reading about NAD+, I kept seeing the same comparison pop up in research summaries, and it reframed everything for me. So let me walk you through what I'm calling the longevity ranking. There's 3 tiers based purely on how strong the evidence is. First we have tier 1, the non-negotiables, and this is where the overwhelming majority of high quality long-term human evidence lies. We have strength training, cardiovascular fitness and maintaining muscle mass, adequate protein intake and sleep. We have decades of data, large population studies, controlled trials, tying these directly to lower mortality, better mobility, and quality of life in later decades. This isn't fringe science, it's about as close to settled as nutrition and exercise science gets. And if you do nothing else from this video, this is the tier that matters most. And then we have tier 2, strong supporting tools. One step down, but still backed by solid evidence, is creatine, omega-3s, depending on your diet, vitamin D, when you're actually deficient. These aren't flashy. Creatine in particular might be the most boring sounding supplement on earth, and yet it has still some of the best long-term safety and efficacy data of any supplement for both muscle and increasingly cognitive health as we age. And then we have tier 3, which is interesting but less proven. And this is where NAD+, NMN and NR live. Here's the key distinction I want you to walk away with, because it changed how I think about this entirely. Raising a biomarker is not the same thing as producing a meaningful health outcome. Yes, NMN and NR supplements can raise your NAD+ levels. That's part is reasonably well documented. But the number went up and you'll live longer or function better are 2 very different claims. The long-term human trials connecting NAD+ supplementation to outcomes like reduced disease risk, extended health span, or measurable functional improvements are still limited, mixed, or short-term. That doesn't mean it's worthless. It means it's promising and unproven, which is a very different category than proven. So let's make this practical. If you handed me a fixed monthly budget for longevity starting today, here's the order I would spend it in. First, there's gym membership or home equipment. Strength training is non-negotiable. And then there's protein-rich food. Yes, this costs more than ramen noodles, but it is foundational. Cardio comes next. It doesn't have to be fancy, just consistent. And then we have creatine, cheap, well studied, easy. And then we have sleep optimization. A good mattress for fixing your sleep schedule beats almost any pill. And then we have NAD+, NMN or NR, only after the above and only if budget allows. Notice where NAD+ lands. Not because it's bad, because everything above it has a stronger claim on your money first. Let me be clear about something before we wrap up. I'm not telling you NAD+, NR or NMN are scams. The science is genuinely fascinating and I will keep following it. Research evolves and what's less proven today could be much clearer in 5 years. But if you're asking where next dollar towards longevity should go, and that's really the question this whole video has been trying to answer, the evidence still points towards the fundamentals, the stuff that doesn't have a flashy bottle or a slick ad campaign. So here's my takeaway, and that's the one thing I want you to remember. The future of longevity may be exciting, but the foundation of longevity is still surprisingly boring. Train, eat your protein, sleep. Then, and only then, if there's room left in the budget, go explore the exciting stuff. Anyway, if this resonated with you, I suggest you subscribe. I'm documenting this whole journey through my 50s, the research, the training, all of it. And let me know in the comments, where does NAD Plus rank on your list? See you in the next one. Take care.